Nobody talks about this night anymore. Not because it wasn't special, but because it happened before people realized what Derrick Rose was about to do to the league. Game 1, 2011 playoffs, Chicago Bulls versus Indiana Pacers. Most fans remember the MVP trophy. Some remember the injuries, but this was the night Derrick Rose quietly took control of the postseason and never gave it back. Here's the part that almost no one mentions. The Pacers didn't come in scared. They came in confident. Veteran roster, physical defenders, playoff experience. A team that believed Chicago's regular season dominance wouldn't translate when things got ugly. And for the first few minutes, it looked like they might be right. The pace slowed, bodies collided, the crowd felt tense, not loud. This wasn't a highlight game yet. This was a test, and Derrick Rose felt it immediately. But instead of forcing shots, instead of announcing himself loudly, he did something far more dangerous. He waited. Because Derrick Rose understood something that night most young stars never do. Game 1 isn't about scoring first. It's about taking ownership. By the time Indiana realized what was happening, the game was already slipping away from them, possession by possession, decision by decision. And here's what makes this night different from most playoff debuts at the top. Rose wasn't reacting to the Pacers were reacting to him. Before we break down how he did it and why this single game changed the entire tone of the series, let me ask you something controversial. If Derrick Rose doesn't dominate this Game 1 the way he did, do the Bulls still control the 2011 playoffs the way we remember? Drop your answer in the comments, yes or no, and why. Because what happened next wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, but it was ruthless. Indiana came in thinking they could slow the MVP down. Instead, they walked straight into a takeover. And once Derrick Rose felt the series shift into his hands, he never let go.
By the second quarter, the Pacers were already doing something they hadn't planned for. They were adjusting. This was supposed to be a feel-out game. Indiana wanted to crowd the paint, bump Rose early, make him uncomfortable, make him prove that regular season dominance could survive playoff physicality. Instead, Derrick Rose was dictating how they defended. Every possession felt the same, but ended differently. And that's what broke them. One time he attacked straight downhill, splitting two defenders before they even finished communicating. The next time he slowed down, dragged the big man just far enough out, then slipped a pass behind him for an easy bucket. Then he'd come back and pull up from mid-range, calm, balanced, almost casual. There was no panic in his game, no rush. And that's what made it dangerous. Because playoff defenses thrive on predictability. They wait for stars to show habits, favorite moves, comfort zones, tendencies they can load up on. But Rose wasn't giving them anything to load up on. He wasn't trying to prove he was MVP. He was playing like someone who already knew it. The Pacers had veteran defenders, guys who had seen stars come and go, who had guarded scorers before, who believed experience mattered in moments like this. But experience doesn't help when speed meets patience. Every time Indiana tried to push Rose toward help, he punished them for it. Every time they stayed home on shooters, he finished himself. Every time they switched, he attacked the mismatch immediately. And the most important part? He never let the crowd cool off. Chicago felt it. That low playoff hum slowly turned into confidence. Not the nervous excitement of hope, the steady roar of control. You could see it on the Pacers bench. They weren't arguing. They weren't frustrated yet. They were confused. Because nothing they were doing felt wrong, and yet everything was failing. By halftime, this wasn't just a close game anymore. It was a psychological one. Indiana had come in thinking, let's survive Game 1, let's steal momentum later. Derrick Rose erased that idea without ever announcing it. And that's when the night truly turned into a takeover. Not with one play, not with one shot, but with a message that landed quietly and hit hard. This series is on my terms now.
The third quarter is where playoff games reveal the truth. Not the score, not the stats, the truth. It's the moment when adjustments are tested, when teams show whether they can respond or whether they've already been figured out. Indiana came out of halftime determined to change the tone. More physical, more aggressive. They picked Rose up higher, bumped him earlier, sent help faster. For a few possessions, it worked. Not because Rose was stopped, but because he was forced to think. And that was the mistake. Because once Derrick Rose starts thinking, he doesn't hesitate. He calculates. He slowed the game down even more. Instead of exploding immediately, he let defenders commit first. He waited for the slightest lean, the tiniest overstep, then went exactly where they weren't. A step back here, a quick spin there, a hesitation that froze the help defender just long enough. Indiana wasn't getting beat by athleticism anymore. They were getting beat by control. This is the part of Derrick Rose's game that rarely gets credit, the part that doesn't show up in highlight reels. His understanding of when to strike. There was a sequence midway through the third that told the entire story. Rose brought the ball up slowly, no rush, crowd watching, defense set. He waved off a screen. The Pacers defender stayed low, hands out, ready. Help shaded toward the lane. Rose hesitated, took one dribble to his left. Defender leaned. That was it. One quick burst, 2 steps, soft finish before the rim protector could even jump. No celebration, no stare down, just a jog back on defense. And something shifted. The Pacers stopped talking as much. The hands stopped flying. The bench got quieter. Because deep down, they knew they weren't losing to a hot night. They were losing to someone who understood the game better than they did and was faster than all of them. Chicago fed off it. Every stop felt heavier. Every Rose basket felt final. This wasn't chaos. This was order. Derrick Rose's order. By the time the fourth quarter approached, the Pacers weren't thinking about how to win. They were thinking about how to survive the rest of the game. And in the playoffs, once a team reaches that point, the series is already leaning the other way.
The fourth quarter didn't need fireworks. That's what made it dangerous. This is usually where stars feel pressure to finish loudly, to hunt big shots, to leave no doubt on the scoreboard. Derrick Rose didn't do that. He finished the game the same way he'd played it from the start, measured, calm, in control. When Indiana tried one last push, Rose answered, not immediately, not desperately, but at the exact moment momentum threatened to tilt. A drive when the defense relaxed, a pull-up when they backed off, a pass when help came early. Each response felt like a door quietly closing. There was no run, no dramatic swing, just the slow realization that the Pacers were running out of time and ideas. Chicago wasn't playing like a team hoping to win a series anymore. They were playing like a team that already knew who it was, and that confidence came from the man with the ball. Rose never forced the moment. He never chased validation. He trusted the rhythm he had set, and the Pacers couldn't disrupt it. When the final minutes ticked away, the crowd wasn't nervous. They were satisfied. Because Game 1 had answered every question. Could Derrick Rose carry playoff expectations? Could his game hold up against physical defense? Could he control a veteran team when it mattered most? That night, the answers came without drama, and that's what made them loud. Indiana walked off the floor knowing something deeper than the loss. They hadn't just dropped a game. They had lost control of the series. And the league noticed. Not because Rose made a viral shot, not because he screamed or flexed or stared someone down, but because he did something far more convincing. He owned the moment from start to finish. This wasn't the MVP playing on reputation. This was a leader setting the terms of the postseason. And once Derrick Rose did that, once he showed he could dominate without chaos, the rest of the playoffs stopped being about whether the Bulls were contenders. It became about who could stop them. And for one long night in Chicago, no one could.